What's up, everyone? Space here. I'm with Anonymous.
Yes.
And they are vegans?
Yes.
They're vegans?
Yep.
And you want to give a quick thing on what you're about?
Yeah, definitely. So we are Anonymous for the Voiceless. We are a nonprofit organization that just shows raw, unedited footage of what happens in slaughterhouses and educate people on how the food gets from point A to point B onto their plate, basically. And then we just educate them on the different resources so that they can make more compassionate choices on how to shop for food and where to buy locally and stuff like that. Yeah.
So what is, so what do we put in our food, like, that's harmful to us?
Well, even if you take out the things that we do put into food and you just look at meat, dairy, and eggs in its essence, it's really high in cholesterol and saturated fats, and our body produces all the cholesterol that it naturally needs. So when we put more of this into our body, it's really harmful. So cholesterol is linked to type 2 diabetes, different types of cancer, and cardiovascular disease. So eliminating these things out of our diet can reduce our risk for all three of those things, and cardiovascular disease is our #1 killer in the United States. So we're just kind of helping that as well, because it really goes into our health a lot too. Yeah.
So a lot of farmers, they inject steroids into their animals.
Yep.
So if we take that out, how are we going to make up the supply of food?
So currently, right now, humans obviously do not eat more than, say, like a cow or a pig. So we are growing enough food to feed 10 billion people on this world because of how much food is required to feed all these farmed animals and then turn around just to slaughter them. So really, if we stopped killing these animals and we just ate the food ourselves, we would have an abundance of food. There wouldn't really be an issue with food shortages or anything like that, because we're already producing enough food. So instead of, we're just kind of cutting out the middleman and stop feeding it to the animals and then ourselves, we're just eating it ourselves.
Okay, and what actions can we take as humans to curb our, meat eating, or not meat eating? But I'm not going to stop eating meat, but I want our food supply to be more clean, or not clean, but less pesticides in our crops, and I don't want steroids in our chickens and stuff like that. So what steps can we make sure that we eat, how do we make sure that we don't have steroids in what we eat? You know what I'm talking about, I guess?
Well, I would say the number one way to eliminate the steroids would be to stop eating meat, dairy, and eggs altogether. If that's not necessarily an option, then I guess there are, companies that probably don't use steroids. I'm not really sure, but I would say the number one way to eliminate the use of steroids to help your health, healthy environment, healthy animals, even help fellow human beings, would just be to cut back on all three of those things. And you think, like, there are thousands of edible plants, and all we're saying is cut 3 small things out of your diet, and you're good to go.
Okay, so if we stop eating meat, some of the farmers, like dairy and eggs and chicken, some of them will go out of business if we stop.
Yes.
Do you have anything to suggestions for that? Like, we would be losing jobs, obviously, but do you have any concerns about that, about people losing their jobs at the farms and stuff like that?
I would say the number one thing is it's not that the world's going to go vegan overnight. So farmers definitely have plenty of time to work some of these issues out. The whole thing is this works on supply and demand. So as we cut back down on our demand, the supply will be cut back down, and so it's not going to be like some overnight kind of thing. It'll definitely be like a gradual shift, and these farmers are going to have plenty of time to figure it out. There's a big organization of vegans working right now specifically with farmers to help them transform their crops into plant-based alternatives and stuff like that, so more compassionate choices. And so honestly, the farmers aren't the enemies. We want to work with them to make these changes.
Okay, cool. What is your YouTube channel called?
Midwestern Vegans.
Midwestern Vegans.
Yep.
If you see this, subscribe to Midwestern Vegans.
What?
My channel is Space of Life. You don't want to put it on your videos? That's okay with you?
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, cool. So subscribe to Midwestern Vegan.
Yep.
Alright. Space out.